and get into polishing, specifically for mirror finish. We're going to use some aluminum, some stainless steel, and mild steel. I'm going to talk about some of the compounds we got here and the different devices you can use it on. But first, I want to bring up the mirror finishing kit that you can get from Benchmark Abrasive. Now, this one specifically is going to be more for like stainless steel and mild steel. You don't want to try it on aluminum. But it comes with your small blocks of compound. You got your white and your green. You also get a flat disc. It's a 120 grit. You also get an interleaf flat disc as well. That's going to be your step 2. And your unitized, sorry, I wanted to say that wrong, unitized wheel. This is going to be your step 3 for the process. And you also get these 2 buffing compound pads. I recommend when using these, get some Ziploc bags, because you want to make sure when you're using those compounds, you're keeping them clean and away from debris building up in them. That way when you go to try to put a finish on something, you're not scratching it up. So get you some Ziploc bags and just write on there which compound it's actually for. It's just going to help you in the long run. Also, you can also get the bigger blocks here if you're working on a lot of jobs, especially like on semi gas tanks, and they want that nice mirror finish on there. So, and they have that across the board. So, you know, for your stainless steels, your mild steels, let's see, we've got aluminum here somewhere, right here. This is going to be for your brass and aluminum, this brown one. And then they also have what's called your jeweler's compound. Now, this jeweler compound, that's going to give you that nice, bright, just vibrant, sheen to it. But if you think about jewelry and how nice it looks in a display case, it's kind of what you're going to use here at that final finish, if that's what you want. You can also get the quick disconnects as well for the buffing compounds, so keep that in mind too. But again, so we're going to work on this piece of aluminum here, this stainless here, and also this mild steel. I just grabbed these 3 pieces to be used for an example. So let's go ahead and get to it and see what we got. So I wanted to point out real quick before I do get started, your felt disc here, make sure it is at an operating speed proper for your angle grinder. And also with your quick disconnect, quick change disc as well. You just want to make sure that stuff when your grinder gets to going, it's not flying apart on you. I noticed how I kept going, moving in a single direction, back and forth. Just make sure you do that and you're not going this way, then this way. Try to keep everything uniform the best you can. So the next step of this process is going to be adding the interleaf flat disc right here. It's a medium, 4.5 inch. We're going to add that to the grinder. I'm going to put a little more elbow grease into this one just to try to help relieve some of these grind marks I got here on the steel. Next, we're going to be using the unitized wheel. That's going to be step 3 as far as the grinding process goes. These are nice little wheels. They really get in there and polish your stuff out for you in the 3rd step, actually. And you can use these wheels for deburring and other stuff as well, so it's not just for mirror finish. I don't have my cameraman here today, so I'm going to try to zoom in here and see if you can get a picture of what that looks like. So that's well, hang on here. There we go. So that's a big difference already, and I haven't even put any compound on there to see if you can see my reflection yet. Let me go ahead and just pull it off the table. But now I'm going to go ahead and same direction I was grinding. It's just back and forth. I'm going to put a little pressure on it, not a whole lot, and just let it work itself in there, and you'll start seeing it come to life and shine. Next step is going to be the green. Again, this is step 2 with the compound. Just make sure that you're very generous when adding it to the felt disc. It's only going to benefit you. In the beginning, I bear down with it pretty good, and then as I'm seeing that shine, I'll start loosening up and just kind of letting the weight come off of it as I'm grinding back and forth. And when you're done polishing it, just get you some cleaner. And I like using microfiber rags and just spray it on here and clean it up. But I don't know if you can tell in the camera, but right here I got some discoloration. That was just from me sitting there grinding on this thin piece of metal too long and it heated up. That was even using the buffing compound. So watch out for that. But regardless, we're still going to be able to see that mirror finish and should be able to get a nice little reflection out of it. But remember, this is on mild still, so you have to bear with me. So as you can see here, and this is my fault, and I'm kind of glad this happened. This discoloration you're seeing right here, that's where I let that get too hot where I was sitting there buffing on it. So remember to take breaks in between and let that cool off. But you can see the difference in the shine, but still, regardless, it's still going to have a shine to it. So let's pull it up. I'm going to put a sticker next to it here so you can see. And that's on mild still. So you can buff that stuff out and get a mirror finish. That's pretty good. Except that center part right here where I let it get too hot. I mean, that's really nice. I mean, look at this difference. So now we'll go ahead and move on over to stainless steel. So now we're going to do stainless steel. Going to do the exact same steps, and I'm only going to do half of this piece so we can see the difference. Switch from our 120 grit to our inner leaf flap wheel. We'll leave a lot of those scratch marks I just left on it. And remember to continuously go in the same direction. And we're going to add our unitized wheel here. Get it down even better. And I'm actually going to let this cool off after this one. It's thin stainless steel, so I want to make sure I don't leave any burn. So I've already added the white compound to the felt flap disc. So now I'm just going to start buffing this in here. And again, I'm going to have to give this time to cool off in between passes to make sure I don't leave another burn mark. Alright, so now we're going to go to the final step using the green. I would like to point out too, while you're sitting here buffing, if you're not starting to see results, don't be afraid to grab that compound and add more to it. Just keep adding it till you start getting the results. And when you start seeing those reflective results that you want, then step your compound up. That way you're going to, when you're done, you're going to get that nice mirror finish. So we're about there now, but I'm not exactly where I want it, so I'm just going to add some more green to it and keep rolling over it. Alright, so that's some pretty good results already. I'm going to go ahead and get a sticker and see what kind of reflection we got. Alright, as you can see, this was how it originally started out, and then over here, this is what we have. You can see my big old head there, standing behind the camera. Okay. So Now I'm going to put this sticker up against it so you can really see. There's my hand. That is a big difference, especially with stainless. That came out beautiful. If I'd have really took my time and just sit there and just kept adding compound over and over, I would have really got a finish that you could have hung in your bathroom. But you can notice too, if you look on these, all the swirl marks on it, you can eventually get those out as well. You just got to keep working on it. So that was stainless. Now we'll get over to aluminum and see how that turns out. Alright, so now we're going to do some aluminum. Again, same thing, I'm only going to do half of this. But there's going to be a couple differences here. We're going to use a different compound. We're going to use a brown, which is for brass and aluminum. Typically I would use an aluminum wheel for grinding down aluminum, but for the package purposing, I'm just going to use what's in this package and see how we come out. The only thing I won't be using is the green and white. So this is the 120 flap wheel. Now we're going to go to the interleaf disc. Put that on there. So again, I would usually use flap disc specifically for aluminum, but again, I have this kit here and I just want to walk you through it if all you have is that kit, and you can still just use the brown compound. So let me get this disc on here. Now that I'm about to do aluminum, I'm going to be using a different compound, which is brown, so it's going to call me to use a completely different flap wheel there. But I also want to point out here, make sure you clean all that stuff out. Get that, you don't want that mixing in with your brown, because those are two different compounds. Alright, now I got the brown compound added, and I'm just going to keep adding it as I need it while I'm trying to polish out this aluminum. Alright, here we go. So again, this is that tube. That's the side I didn't do, and that's the side I did do. I'll grab his Benchmark sticker again so we can see a difference. Turned up here. Oh yeah, that came out real good. So here we go, just so you can see the results here. Let me scoot that over so it looks a little better. That's using that mirror finish on aluminum there. See the Benchmark sticker, real nice and clear. Over here's the stainless. It's almost like two stickers laying there. And here's mild steel. Which honestly, I probably could have done a little better on the mild steel, but again, that's just my fault. The steel, look at that reflection. Very nice. So again, with a little time, patience, you can turn these three metals into mirrors if you want. Brass too, but I don't have any brass laying around, or I'd have done some brass. I think brass probably would have been a lot easier. I hope you all enjoyed that video of the mirror finishing buffing compounds. Just remember, while you are using those compounds, don't worry about being stingy with it. Use as much as you want and keep going over it until you get the finish you want. It's only going to take a little practice to get there. I mean, I still need practice myself. You all got to see it for yourself. But, you know, with mild steel, stainless, and aluminum, you can get that mirror finish you want. All it takes is a little time. Thanks for watching.